your man JGR's report, and welcome to the College Football Weekly Wrap-Up, Week 12. Y'all know how we get it in, so let's get it in. Wrapping up the top 5 ball games of the weekend, so let's get right to it. Now, I had to let you boys know from the top, I'm 5-0 this weekend, bruh. Y'all gonna start listening to me. So, let's move on to the first ball game. Now, we're gonna go out to the Big Ten. We got number 16, Nebraska, goes up to Madison to play number 20, Wisconsin. Now, here's the deal. In this ball game, I told you that Nebraska had lost 4 out the last 5 on the road against top 25 teams. That means they was dub. Old Doug Bopolini was going to be dub. We know it. He already on the hot seat out in Nebraska. And Melvin Gordon went to work on these boys. Had 25 carries, 408 yards, and 3 touchdowns on these boys. Now, in 3 quarters, bro. No, 4 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns in 3 quarters, bro. That done ran to Egypt and back on these boys. I went out last night to get a burger after the game. That done ran past me at the light, got pulled over for speed. Hey, all I gotta say is Nebraska is dub. Don't keep calling the doggone black shirts the black shirts. They the pink shirts right now, or no shirts. They dub. Let's move on to the next ball game. Now, we got number 8, Ohio State. Goes out to number 25, Minnesota. Now, I told you boys going into this ball game that they didn't play football in Minnesota. If Prince wasn't playing the fight song, I wasn't interested. Now, J.T. Barrett, the young boy, J.T. Barrett goes to work on these boys. He ends up with 200 passing yards, 3 touchdowns in the air. Then he goes for 189 and another touchdown on the ground. He's got 38 touchdowns this year, which is 2 more than Braxton Miller set in terms of records. Then he's got 186 yards rushing, which is 3 more yards than Braxton Miller put together. I'm just saying, bruh. He's got more touchdowns in his first 10 ball games than anybody in FBS history, including Johnny Football, who put up 33, Jameis Winston, who put up 31. And both them duds won the Heisman Trophy. So all I'm saying to you, if you're going to try to screw Jameis Winston out the Heisman Trophy, you may as well go and give it to the young boy, J.T. Barrett. And by the way, Braxton Miller, you need to be fired. You another position to play next year, bro. Because you ain't going to be the quarterback. You ain't going to be the quarterback at Ohio State next year. They need to break it to him gently. Hey, bro, we found our quarterback. I know you can't lose your job due to injury, but it happens all the time. So either you're going to change positions or you're going to change schools. One of the two. Because you ain't going to play quarterback at Ohio State ever again. Let's move on to the next ball game. Now, we got number 9, Auburn. Goes out between the hedges to play number 15, Georgia. Now, going into this ball game, I told you boys that Georgia was going to beat the brakes off these boys. They beat them 34-7. Here's the reason why Georgia was going to win that ball game. I told you before we even got started. Georgia is like the bar. At the bar, you got a 2-drink minimum. At Georgia, they got a 2-game loss maximum. They going to at least lose 2 ball games. They always going to lose a ball game they shouldn't lose. They already got drugged by Florida in the world's largest cocktail party. So you knew they weren't going to lose another game because old springtime when Mark Richt is going to keep him at 2. He going to always keep his job because he wins 10 ball games a year. He going to be dull in one of them, and then he going to slip up and win and lose one. So, hey, Todd Gurley was back in this ball game. So they gave him a 1-2 punch between Todd Gurley and Nick Chubb. They went to work on these boys. Todd Gurley had 29 carries, 138 yards. Then Nick Chubb had 19 carries for 144 yards. Ain't nothing you can do with him, bruh. Georgia is the real deal at this point, but old Dub Missouri still controls his own destiny to get to the SEC East championship. They'll go to the SEC championship. If they fall apart, then Georgia's in. Let's move on to the next ball game. Now, we got number 3, Florida State goes down to South Beach to play the Miami Hurricanes. Now, the U came into this ball game with the best quarterback in the ACC statistically, and they went to work on Florida State at the beginning of the game. They jumped all over, went up 16-0. I know all the boys out there, every media member in America that hate Jameis Winston was singing and jumping around like the Munchkins did when the doggone Wicked Witch was killed. They waiting on the doggone pointy-toe shoes to curl up underneath the house, but it didn't happen. Even when they went up 23-7, I say sit back, because famous Jameis is in the building. Hey, these boys came back from being down 23-7, outscored them another 23-3 going to finish the ball game. Jameis Winston is the real deal. He put up 304 yards, got a touchdown, but kept everybody calm, bruh. Brad Kyle went to work. You got to give him his props from Florida, from Miami. He put up 316 yards, 2 touchdowns, but he threw a dub pick when he didn't need to. I'm just saying, for everybody that's trying to hate on Florida State, they keep winning ball games. They got a 26-game winning streak. You can't deny them. They're the best team in America when it comes to winning ball games. So you got to keep them in. But I know all you dumb mugs just keep on waiting on famous Jameis to fall apart. And he keep flipping you the bird. Let's move on to the next ball game. Now, the big ball game. We got number 1. Mississippi State goes down to Tuscaloosa to play the number 5 Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, here was the problem in this ball game. Alabama wins this ball game 25-20. But here was the major problem getting off the bus. Alabama doesn't allow the old dumb cowbells to show up in the game. They had a big old barrel outside. You got to throw the cowbell in the barrel, bro. All you can do in here today is whistle. So now you know that you wasn't going to do nothing because they didn't have the cowbell, they didn't have the momentum, and Dak Prescott, he put in work. Put up 290 yards, had 2 touchdowns, but he threw 3 dub picks. Mississippi is Mississippi State. Mississippi State is Mississippi State. Hey, but I will give them props. They showed up. They made a game out of it. They went down 19-0, came back, made a game out of it. But you got to understand, like I told you in the pregame, Blake Sims has a plethora. Let me say it again. Has a plethora of weapons in the joint. Let me spell it for you. P-L. Look, he came out here. Amari Cooper had 8 catches for 88 yards. Then you go, DeAndre White had 4 catches for 40 yards. T.J. Weldon, 16 carries, 72 yards. Derrick Henry, 11 carries, 36 yards. He just kept throwing the ball around the field, giving the ball to all his different weapons. Alabama, like I told you going into this ball game, is the best team in America, and they should be in the hunt. Now, I will say this. My top 4 after this weekend is the one that only makes sense. Don't listen to nobody else, bruh. You got Florida State number 1, Alabama number 2. Oh, dumb. Let me see, who should I put at number 3? I got Alabama at number 2. Then we're going to have, you got to listen and wait until Tuesday, bruh. But I'm going to tell you this. Florida State is the real deal. They're the best team. They're the best team when it comes to winning. Alabama next. Go ahead and throw old Doug Oregon in there if you want to, or Baylor. But I say Baylor should be number 4. And Mississippi State should be number 3. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to do Florida State, Alabama, Mississippi State, and Baylor, the top 4 teams in America, because it only makes sense. It's your man, Jay Graves Report, from the JGravesReport.com, or you can hit me up on Twitter at JGravesReport so you can holler at your boy.